Hello class. This is the concentration and solubility lab project, and the materials required for this lab project is salt, um, deionized water, deionized water, um, dialysis tubing. I already cut it and sealed one end already. Yes, I already cut it and sealed one end already. Um, dialysis tubing. Um, Starch, my starch. So, mini scale, mini scale. Graduated cylinder. I have two in case I need an extra one. Um, filter paper. Filter paper. Erlenmeyer flask. I also have two in case I need extra ones. Beakers, two as well. Steering rods, didn't mention that. Funnel and dental floss. I have my dental floss. Okay, now let's proceed to the steps. All right. Okay, step number one: obtain a graduated cylinder and a 250 milliliter beaker. Graduated cylinder and a 250 milliliter beaker. 250 milliliter beaker. Okay, measure out 10 milliliter of deionized water in the graduated cylinder. 10 milliliter of deionized water. On the floor. I have more space on the table. Yes, 10 milliliter of deionized water into the graduated cylinder. Okay. Right under that. Right now. Okay, perfect. 10 milliliter of deionized water. I have the 10 milliliter right here. And milliliter. 15. There you go. It's better this way. Perfect. 10 milliliter of deionized water into the graduated cylinder. Okay. Step 3. Pour the deionized water into the beaker, the 50 milliliter beaker. Pour it back into the beaker. Okay. Obtain table salt. And that's step number 4. Table salt, and saturate the deionized water with table salt. Okay, I'm gonna saturate the solution. 10 milliliter, and I'm gonna saturate the solution. Okay, that should be plenty. Okay. There it is. You can see that we have some remaining of salt at the bottom of the beaker. Step number 5, actually step number 6, obtain an Erlenmeyer flask and weigh the Erlenmeyer flask on the mini scale. So I'm gonna weigh the Erlenmeyer flask, and I'm going to weigh it. Yeah, there's still some salt. And I'm going to weigh it on the mini scale. Step number 6. Okay. And record the mass of the Erlenmeyer flask. Okay, I'm reading 74.77 grams. 74.77 grams. Erlenmeyer flask empty. Empty. 74.77 grams. Okay. Step number 7. Place a funnel on top of the Erlenmeyer flask. The funnel. Step number 8. Place a piece of filter paper into the funnel and pour the salt solution into the filter paper. Okay. Filter paper. Yes. I'm going to use the funnel. Place a piece of filter paper into the funnel and pour the salt solution into the filter paper. This should allow the solution to pass through. Yeah, okay. Good. Okay. Yes, it's dripping. While it's dripping, okay, now wait for it to drip. Okay. Still dripping. I'm going to wait for it to finish dripping. Alright, step 9, it says place the Erlen Meyer flask out in the sun and allow all the water to evaporate, leaving behind the salt. And step 10, weigh the Erlenmeyer flask with the salt inside. That's after I leave it out in the sun. And step 11, determine the mass percent of the salt dissolved in the saturated salt solution. Step number 12, determine the moles of salt dissolved in the saturated salt solution. And determine step 13, determine the molarity of the salt solution. All right, once I finish, once I get all the drip, I get all the water, I'm going to weigh the solution to get the mass of the solution, because I will need the mass of the solution later to calculate the mass percent of the salt dissolved later on when I get the salt after I put it out in the sun. I'm going to need because to calculate the mass percent, it is the mass of the solid divided by the mass of the solution times 100. All right, I'm gonna let it drip, and I'm going to move with the next part of the project. Like it's making the starch solution. I'm going to rinse out my beaker. Okay, now making starch solution. All right, step 15. I'm going to measure 1 gram of starch using the mini scale. But first, I need to zero out the scale by putting the beaker. I think I know it's a beaker, right? You can measure by placing, yep, a beaker. So I'm going to zero out the scale first while having the beaker on it. So with the beaker sitting on the scale, I'm reading 0 gram. Okay. Now I'm going to measure 1 gram of starch. Ooh, 0.99. Ooh. I have 1.09. I don't know if it has to be exact. 1 gram on the dot. Actually 1.01, 02, 03. Oh, come on. This should do it right here. There we go. There you go. 1 gram. I have 1 gram exactly. Oh my God, why it fluctuates. 1.02. All right. All right. This is the closest I can get it to. 1.02. All right. 1 gram of starch and obtain your Erlenmeyer flask and place it on the mini scale and zero it out. Okay. All right. Same thing. I'm gonna take another Erlenmeyer flask. I'm going to put it on the beaker. On the scale. And I zero out the Erlenmeyer flask. Okay. I'm going to measure out 99 grams of deionized water. 99 grams of deionized water. Two. Four. 64. 'Okay. Getting close. There you go. 99 grams of deionized water. Remember that. Okay. All right. Step 18: transfer the deionized water into the beaker and stir the solution until all the starch is dissolved. Until all the starch is dissolved. Okay. I'm going to transfer the deionized water into the beaker. I have my starch powder here, and I'm going to transfer it. Okay. And I'm going to stir it. Okay. Seems like it is all dissolved. All right, perfect. Yes. Okay. Now. Okay. All right. Dry it out. Perfect. Drop my oil in my flask and measure 3 grams of starch. Yeah, 3 grams of starch into the early mile flask with the on the mini scale. Now this is my 1% starch solution. I'm going to put it away, and I'm going to measure 3 grams. 3 grams of starch in the Ellen Meyer flask. 3 grams of starch in the Ellen Meyer flask. There you go. 3 grams of starch. This one I got it right. 3 grams of starch in the Ellen Meyer flask. And step 20, measure out 97 milliliters of deionized water, 97 milliliters of deionized water using a graduated cylinder. So I'm going to measure 97 milliliter. Oh. Okay, I only have a 25 milliliter of my graduate cylinder is 25 milliliter, so therefore I'm going to fill it up 3 times. That'll be 75, and I'm going to measure the rest to get it to 97 milliliter. Yeah, 97 milliliter of deionized water. Okay, let's do this. So let me grab another beaker. Okay, this is 25. I'm going to pour it in the bigger beaker. All right, this is 25. One time. 25 milliliter. One time. Okay. $25 milliliter 2 times. So I have 50 right now. I need more water. $25 milliliter a third time. So I had 50, so that's 75 now. 75. So I will need 22 milliliter to make it 97. 22 milliliter of deionized water to make it 97. Okay. 22 milliliter. Perfectly. I have 25 right here, and I have 22 milliliter. As you can see the 20 here. And I have 22. And now I have 97 milliliter of water into this beaker. 97. Okay. Okay. 97 milliliter of water. Transfer the deionized water into the earthen mine flask. I'm going to transfer. This is my 3 grams of starch, and this is 97 milliliter of deionized water. I'm going to transfer that into the earthen mine flask. I'm going to stir it. Okay, now I have a 1% solution of starch, and this is my 3% solution of starch. Okay, close the end of the dialysis tubing by twisting it. Okay, so I have the dialysis tubing right here. Dialysis tubing. That's the back of it. Okay. And I have sealed one end. I'll seal one end with the dental floss. Okay. Okay. Okay, close one end, and I'm going to pull out 20 milliliter of the 1%, 20 milliliter of the 1% starch solution. I'm going to stir it one more time. $20 milliliter of the 1%, 3%, 1%. And in order for me to pull out 20 milliliter, I'm going to measure 20 milliliter of that 1% of starch solution into my graduated cylinder. Wonderful. Now I have 20 milliliter of the 1% starch solution. Let me bring it close to the camera so we can see. Exactly 20 milliliter right here. All right, 20 milliliter of the 1% starch solution, and I'm going to pour it into the dialysis tubing. Okay. right, I have it at the bottom of it. Okay, right here. Okay. I'm going to use the dental floss to seal the other end. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right. Now I have the 1% of starch solution into the dialysis tubing. 1%. 20 milliliter of the 1%. Okay. Weigh the dialysis tubing in recorded mass. Okay, I'm going to weigh the dialysis tubing with the solution. And I have 16.74 grams. 16.74 grams. 16 dialysis tubing. Dialysis tubing. 64. 16.74. 16.74 grams. Okay. So I'm going to put 30 milliliter, okay, into a beaker, 30 milliliter of my 3%. This is my 3%. This is my 3%. And I'm going to put 30 milliliter of that solution into a beaker. Another beaker. Okay, let me dry this one out. Okay, 30 milliliter of the 3%. Again, I'm going to use actually I have this is the beaker that I use for the 1%. I mean the graduated cylinder that I use for the 1%. I'm going to use a dry beaker. I mean, oh my goodness, a dry graduated cylinder for my 3% starch solution to measure the 30 milliliter. Okay, I have 25 here, and I'm going to measure another 5 milliliter to make it 30. This is 25 into the beaker, and I'm going to get another 5. Yep, 5 milliliter. Yep, right here. Just to show you, 5 milliliter of the 3% into the beaker. Now I have 30 milliliter of my 3% starch solution, and I'm going to place the dialysis tubing with the 1% starch solution into the beaker. Yeah. Perfect. Now it's sitting in it now. All right, right here. And I'm going to cover it and let it sit for 3 days. See you on the next on the next part 2, for this project. And this is my solution of the salt, the salt from earlier that I'm going to put in the sun. Yes. Yes. All right. Actually, I'm going to put it in the sun. All right. Thank you. See you next time.